Coming up on this episode of Bro Do You Even Talk Pinball, we're going to get into news and updates, including Iron Maiden release from Stern Pinball and news from Jersey Jack Pinball.
And we're going to review Stern's 2001 release, Monopoly. All that and more coming up. Oh, man, stupid video. We're going to have to do that again now.
Double super jackpot!
I need a ramp. I need a loop. I want targets I can hit. I need the scoop. I need a double super jackpot in my life. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Nick Meat Mountain Lane and Kevin Don't Touch My Fanny Manny of Buffalo Pinball. Oh, that's nice. They'll probably choose that one.
I appreciate the intro, but I'm not Meat Mountain Lane. That's Jay Fairbrother. I've never had a Meat Mountain in my life.
Well, maybe it's time for that to change.
And he wasn't even going for alliteration, but I liked his enthusiasm. It was a good one.
Yeah, I like the end part where he's all proud of himself.
I just want a better nickname. That's all.
All right, well, maybe there's more coming.
Okay.
We'll have more next month.
All right. Thanks for changing it up, Kevin, because we talk about this every time. I know it takes work and effort.
Well, thank you to Pin Daddy. He cut those out for me.
Oh,
today,
well,
so
well, thank you, Pin Daddy.
He's the man.
Thank you. And thank you, Rudy, of course. Welcome, everybody. It's Monday, April 23rd. It's Bro Do You Even Talk Pinball, as Rudy correctly introduced us. Nick Lane, Kevin Manny.
This is the premier upstate New York pinball podcast,
That's right.
as chosen by the Trash Talker Invitational. We'll get into that later. But
Yeah, we'll take it.
yeah.
Well, it's only been a month, right, since we did the last podcast.
It has.
But it seems like forever. Mm-hmm. Usually it doesn't seem that way in pinball news, but it seems like there's a lot that happened. So
Yeah.
let's get into our partner thanks, and then we'll go ahead and unpack that. So this podcast, as well as the stream that we do, is made possible in part by folks like Comet Pinball. Comet Pinball makes LEDs. And then we're gonna do this a little differently.
All
right. Jersey Jack, maker of Hobbit, Wizard of Oz, Dialed In. Pin Stadium makes lighting kits for your pinball machine.
Mm-hmm.
Double Danger makes pinball shirts. They carry ours in stock. They got pinball swag.
Ooh, and they got new Buffalo Pinball patches.
Oh, sweet. There you go.
Check them out. $5.
Titan Pinball makes silicone rings to replace crappy rubber rings in your pinball machines. Pinball Arcade has gotten a lot of people into pinball, including myself. They make virtual recreations of real pinball. Pinball Life, pinballlife.com, pinball parts, pinballs, all your pinball accessories. Head on over to pinballlife.com. Community Beer Works, makers of the most delicious beer in Buffalo, New York. I'm sorry that we always talk about Community Beer Works and we mention them, and it's just not relevant to a lot of people not in Buffalo. Although they have stuff in Albany and New York City, so check it out.
And when they come for the summer open, they can get
Oh
some
my God.
CBW.
I'm going to give them one more praise because we were there for league night, and they had this strawberry banana milkshake beer.
Ooh, man.
And it tasted ridiculously good. So highly recommend. And then finally, Tilt Cycle. TiltCycle.com makes upcycled pinball art. A lot of these folks have the coupon code of Buffalo. So when coupon code is eligible, just type in Buffalo and you'll get a discount. Even if they don't, type in Buffalo and maybe they should.
It might be a secret. You can let them know that you want Buffalo to save you money.
There you go. Alrighty, Kevin, where do you want to begin?
Well, I mean, there was a new pinball machine released between our last podcast and this one, so we should probably talk about that one first.
I think it's probably must have been released right after their podcast because it seems like forever ago now.
It does. But yeah, it's the one and only Iron Maiden. You saw Rudy Soup of Buffalo Pinball streaming that on our channel a week or so ago. But yeah, this game looks amazing. Art by Zombie Yeti. Keith Elwin on the design and rules. It's got 12 Iron Maiden songs, 4 flippers, 2 spinners, 3 banks of drop targets, captive ball, a bullseye target, all that and more for just $59.99 for the Pro. $75.99 for the Premium, $89.99 for the Limited Edition, which we haven't seen yet. We've only seen the Pro, but this is the Pro where you're looking at on the screen. It's got amazing art. The layout is awesome looking. Tons and tons of shots. Look at all those shots. Inner loops, outer loops, ramps, jump ramp in the middle that hits that bullseye target. It's crazy. It's got 2 spinners on a Pro. Hello?
Yeah.
The only
got
thing...
service rails on the Pro.
It does have service rails.
And metal ramps.
Mm-hmm. But there's really no toys on this game. Have you stopped and looked at it? There's like not a toy on this.
You know, the funny thing is, you're absolutely right, and I haven't delved into Pinside because a lot of times it's noise, and I love Pinside and all. But you're the first person who said that, and I know it registered in my mind that there's no toys, but I haven't really heard that come up. Is that a thing? Do people?
Not really.
They're just really enamored by the game, aren't they?
Right. But the fact that it doesn't have any toys, you know, I was thinking about when we eventually get to reviewing this, if we're not going to be able to review that part because there aren't any. You could call the jump target in the back a toy, sort of. Probably a stand-up target. Really
I guess
isn't a
they're
toy.
probably going to want to call that a toy, but it's not. Traditionally, you wouldn't call that a toy. I mean, that's a stretch.
But what's great about this is like you mentioned Pinside, right? And Pinside always wants the packed playfields, all the stuff, like throw stuff on there. And then this game comes out and it's all shots.
Yeah.
And the art is beautiful and the gameplay's fun and the rules look cool and nobody cares that there aren't any toys.
It's funny. I mean, it's funny because, like I said, you're the first person I've heard. Obviously, other people have said this, but you're the first person who said something about that. I'm really starting to think about that. There aren't any toys. I like a toy on a game a little bit because you're kind of conditioned for what is the toy. What's the gimmick? Does the toy make the game something that you have to buy? No, not necessarily. But you want to, at least for me, in my humble opinion, I like to have something on there, something cool. And especially that it might attract, even as an operator, a cool toy. I think that our games that have a cool toy perform better than games that don't have a cool toy.
Yeah, I do wonder if it'll have an impact on location because there's not like the gimmick to hook people. Like there's not a Sparky on there to go after for the new people to get something crazy going in the multi-ball and all that. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a bazillion of them en route. The game looks awesome. It's almost universally praised on Pinside, which is a rarity. So kudos to Stern, Keith Elwin, the whole team behind the game. It looks awesome. Can't wait to get my hands on it and really dig into it. But Iron Maiden, check it out.
As Russ Savage 4 says, 12 Iron Maiden songs. That's really good.
Yeah.
I like I will say this. If you ask me, would you rather have a game that has 8 songs like Aerosmith or 12 songs, Aerosmith and a toy versus 12 songs and no toy? I sort of want more. I want more content in the game than toys. So don't get me wrong. As other people said, Rudy Soup says it doesn't need toys. It's fun, right? Yeah, there's plenty of pinball machines that you can have a lot of fun. They don't have toys. It's not a necessary condition to own a pinball machine or for a pinball machine to be fun. It's nice to have a toy. It is. There's no doubt that's a nice thing to have a toy. Like Mustang is the game that we talked about before on the show, where we're like, wow, this is a game that's come out, that's a recent game, right, in the last 10, 20 years, and it doesn't have a toy. And I think we were struggling to think of another game like that didn't have a toy on it.
Well, here it is. We found it.
You did? You've got one already?
Yeah.
It's Iron Maiden. This. Okay. Yeah. Well, here's another one.
Yeah.
That doesn't take away my enjoyment of Mustang, but it's worth saying that it does lack that.
It does. So it's got the model car that you would build your Estes model car kit that just sits there and doesn't interact with it.
Yeah. So there you go. That's interesting. I for one, really excited for the game.
Yeah.
It's nice that we're hearing all good things about it. The art looks fantastic. I love like listen, I don't listen to Iron Maiden, but I love like the style. I love the story it tries to tell, or like this Egyptian theme. It's something different, right? It has this very 80s, 90s look to it. That's what struck me about this game, and I really like it. Like I think of Black Pyramid, obviously, because there's a pyramid on there, but it's just got that vibe, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Zombie
Yeti.
I
bow to you.
It almost looks like an original theme.
Yeah.
Because of the art style and everything like that, and it's got Iron Maiden songs playing.
Absolutely.
All right.
Coming soon to the Buffalo Pinball and Arcade Company route, right?
It is. It's going to be at the Masuda Chow's, which we're can't wait for that to open. Hopefully, fingers crossed in May. They're going to be getting an Iron Maiden, and we'll probably do an event around that.
Yes, I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. All right, so there you go. That's Iron Maiden.
So you're excited for the game, Kevin?
I'm super stoked.
Did you talk about your reaction to it? What do you think when you saw it?
I think it looks awesome.
Okay.
The art and the shots and my first point I made was the lack of toys, because that's kind of what jumped out at me after seeing the response to it. the positive response. I was surprised that there wasn't more
Right.
kind of feedback about that. But
Yeah.
overall, like, it's a game I would consider trading like Ghostbusters for if I didn't know there was going to be a lot of them around. I feel like this is going to be the new Metallica where you can't get away from it. So I'd rather, put my money towards something that I don't have as ready access to.
That makes sense. I mean, it's nice. Look, you got 2 spinners, 4 flippers. You got a lot, 3 bank drop targets. Like Keith obviously could have chosen to put a toy, but it sounds like, look, let's put content. Let's make the best machine possible, right?
Yeah,
and
I mean,
we don't need a gimmick.
There's a certain bill of materials you can get into a $5,000 or $6,000 pinball machine, and he decided to go with more shots, more rails, more flippers. Put the money into that, as opposed to like building a new mech for a toy that is custom to only that game or whatever.
Well, let's talk about a couple things. Just how this game was released too. Mm-hmm. I think Stern did a fantastic job in how this was released. So they released the game. They said, it's Iron Maiden. They showed screenshots, and on that day they had an interview on Coast to Coast Pinball with Keith Elwin. Now, Coast to Coast Pinball, fantastic podcast. If you, for some strange reason, you haven't listened to that, listen to that interview with Keith Elwin about the game. Yeah. It's very well done. Nate does an excellent job. You can get some insight into this game. But I liked how they released it. Then they had the interview, so you can learn about it as the game is released and screenshots are shown. And then they shipped it quickly. I mean, so it's
5 days
there.
later. It's like arriving in locations. It's crazy.
So kudos to Stern. I'm sure Zach, had a part of that.
Yep.
In the one of the nuggets in the interview with Keith that I kind of picked up on, and it was right at the end. He said something to the effect like George Gomez is getting rid or got rid of the 9-to-5ers. And they were talking about all the talent that George has brought into Stern, and they've got a ton of talent. Hiring Keith. Because Keith is obviously the best pinball player in the world, one of the best pinball players in the world, designed his own machine. So George sought him out for that.
Yep.
They brought in Tim Sexton. So they're Zach Sharp. They got Brian Eddy. Right. So
God.
Look, they're what is the messaging behind that? I think that line is super important. They're as Gary Stern liked to always say in his seminars, we're a manufacturing company. Well, it seems like they're bringing real pinball people into this now. And not that they didn't have real pinball people, but they've got an army, Stern Army, of people who are really passionate about pinball. And, when they're not at the Stern factory, they're playing pinball. They're living, breathing, eating pinball, right?
Yep.
So that's fantastic news. I think that was the criticism sometimes where we saw these generic layouts. We saw these uninspired rules. Hopefully that's going to change, and seeing this game where it's a unique layout, a unique design, it doesn't have a toy, like it bucked that trend. They probably had to think about that, and there's probably discussions. Hey, wait a minute, there's not a toy. How are people going to react to it? It doesn't seem to matter. So that's fantastic. I'm really excited. This is such an awesome time in pinball. We kind of say that year after year, but the trend is going the right way.
Yeah, it struck me the one day when I was like driving home from work or something. I was like, I got to tweet about this because it's like you got Stern just cranking this game out. Everybody, it's got universally loved. You got Jersey Jack with 2 amazing games dialed in, Pirates of the Caribbean, which we're going to talk about in a minute. You got Multi-Morvic innovating all over the place.
Yeah.
You got Spooky Pinball with Total Nuclear Annihilation and Alice Cooper. It's just like there's just so much awesome pinball happening right now. It's great.
Yeah.
Love it.
Great time to be in the hobby, everybody.
Absolutely. And then,
all right,
of course, somebody on Twitter said, well, there are no Williams.
So Steve Daniels said, maybe a tidbit, this might help somebody. Did you guys watch the Stern Iron Maiden Q&A panel from MGC? What is MGC?
Midwest Gaming Classic.
Okay, it's on Facebook on Stern's page. Really good. So there you go. There's a pro tip from the famous Steve Daniels.
Golden Bro, Steve Daniels. Thank you, sir.
All right. Anything else on Iron Maiden?
I think we're good on Iron Maiden.
We'll play the game eventually. Like I said, we got one coming for the business, so we're going to be able to spend a lot of time. And then I know there's been requests for us to review it all in good time. And by the time that happens, there's probably going to be more code updates, so we'll get an even more polished product. And we'll do our own stream, too, at that time.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the other big news that happened this month is an update on Jersey Jack Pirates of the Caribbean. Let me pull up the pictures here. This is Iron Maiden, and there it is. So Eric Minier of Jersey Jack Pinball, designer of this game, on, was it Monday? Or no, it was Friday of last week, put up a YouTube video saying there was going to be 2 updates to Pirates of the Caribbean. before they go into production. One is that the trunk that used to open when you would lock a ball, it would pop open, you'd see the ball go in, and then it would like slam shut. That's just going to be permanently open now, and that's because they're having issues with it staying open reliably, and it was affecting the shot. The shot wasn't going in cleanly, and so in order to make it a more reliable shot, that's just going to stay open. People seem to be okay with that. They're like, okay, it kind of stinks, but okay, well, whatever. The big one is what you're seeing on the screen right now, and you're seeing the green outlines around it. This is
Zach, you're good.
Okay. You're seeing a cutout of this. This is probably like a mock-up of it that they would have on their for like production. So it shows the green outlines around it where all the inserts are going to go and things like that. So they've taken out the triple spinning disc, which was a pretty well received feature on this game. Eric talked about it a lot. He was very excited about this. Unfortunately, it had reliability issues because once they had it out there on location and they started having it in the shops and at shows and stuff, it was starting to break down. And I saw some video of it online where it was like moving real slowly and not working. So unfortunately, they've had to pull it out of the game for production. Which, believe me, I understand if you're upset about this. It's a big feature of the game, but here's my take on it. I don't really care that much. I'm still going to get mine. I still have one on order, and here's why. Let me explain it. So the game, it's basically just a fancy mystery award generator. And if they can achieve the same effect with a single spinning disc, that's going to affect your ball. It goes at variable rates, and it's going to spin forwards and backwards. And they can award the awards on the screen in the same kind of a way. It's going to show it on the map and everything. I'm fine with that. The game's going to play the same. It looks a little different. I get it. It's not what you were promised when you put your down payment on the game. That's fine. I mean, get your down payment back if you're not that happy with it. Eric has said he's not happy with having to take it out, but in the end, I think it's better for the reliability of the game. Operators are not going to be happy if you put this game out there on location and those discs start breaking down. It's not going to be cheap for them to replace it if they have to start shipping out all sorts of new discs and everything. And here's the reality. They could keep delaying the game and redesign the mech and everything probably, but they have to start making games eventually. You can't keep delaying everything forever, right? So that's my take on it. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, Kevin is a shill for Jersey Jack.
Obviously.
That's why he's saying this.
Total
and
shill.
He's defending it.
I'm such a shill that I'm still going to buy the game.
Yeah, he just got a huge check to say all that. Mm-hmm. Good job. What game are you getting now, Kevin?
I'm too busy swimming through my pile of cash over here.
When I heard Kevin sent me like the link to the video and I watched it, and I remember waking up on like a Saturday and looking at that and definitely being disappointed by that, definitely being bummed out. And I was surprised with your reaction. You're like, it's no big deal. I'm like, well, it kind of is a big deal because that's something that they hyped up. It's never been done before, so it had that cool original factor. I like how Jack is willing to not just recycle toys necessarily and use some things different or take that approach, and it was cool that Eric did that. So I don't care about spinning discs on a playfield, but I thought that toy, how integrated also into the rules, was something to be excited for. So when they said it was being taken out, and then the trunk, which again I don't really care about the trunk, but to have two bad news in a game that I've got ordered and coming on the way was very disappointing. So I can totally relate to anybody who feels disappointed. I don't know how you can't feel disappointed by that because it is a cool feature. And I had somebody message me who watches the show and asked me what I thought of it, and I stated this. And then he said, "Yeah, I'm not in anymore." He dropped out of the pre-order, and I get that. There's probably a lot of people who are on the fence with the game because it is an expensive game, and to lose a feature that was kind of front and center and get hyped, it's a chance to say, well, you know what, I'm going to at least pull back on it. So I get that. Now I've got my game pre-ordered, and I'm staying in because I didn't order or get this game because it's got a spinning disc with a cool toy. Going back to the toys, that's not why I fell in love with the Pirates of the Caribbean game. I fell in love with the entire package of the game and how it shoots, the original shots, the in-depth rules. And This Week in Pinball did a nice interview with Eric And, it's kind of funny in that interview, not that in the interview with Eric, but in that article, it says, here's what you're still getting in the game. And it's like all these modes, all these different ways to play the game. It's like, well, yeah, that's why I'm sold on this game. That's why I'm staying in the game. So it's a bummer. I'd be lying to say it's not a bummer, but it definitely isn't, as Eric said in the interview, a cost reduction thing. Listen, they know how much the game costs when they showed it off. They're not trying to save money. They spent from October to April before announcing it. Obviously, they've tried a long time to fix this and can't. And they know that by taking it out, they're going to lose people. They lost pre-orders. There's no doubt that happened. I think what's going to end up happening, because I've played the game, Kevin's played the game, it's a lot of fun. I like the fact that it's going to be more reliable now, because God knows I can't fix a pinball machine. So that's really good. When I played the game in October, I thought all this stuff was cool, but I'm like, these are all these things that can break. And they will break. Anything breaks in a pinball machine the more you do it. So there's that. I think what's going to happen is the game's going to come out. They're going to lose some pre-orders. The game's going to come out in the summer. People are going to get it. They're going to have a good time with it. They're going to realize how fun it is. They're going to enjoy the rules, the theme, the presentation that comes with Jersey Jack Pinball, and that this kind of initial disappointment will subside. Not everybody's going to come back around, but I think some people that were scared off, I wouldn't be surprised if they came back around to it, because at the end of the day, is the game fun, right? Is Iron Maiden fun? Regardless, that doesn't have a toy, there's that. But anytime you're doing marketing or sales and you're selling somebody on something cool and then you take it away, that's the psychology behind it. There's instant disappointment. So it's going to take some time, but I'm so super excited to get the game. I like the fact that now I'm going to have a game that the reliability is better. I don't want a problem, because that frustrates me more than anything on a pinball machine. So
there's going to be some people that look at the center of that playfield, and the only thing they're going to think about is whatever they're missing. What they were promised and what they didn't end up getting. Then there's going to be the probably 95% of everybody else who's like, oh yeah, I played it, it's fun, it's cool. Maybe I'll grab it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I wasn't ever planning on getting it, but. I don't know. If you step back and look at the game as a whole, it's packed. So
right.
If you just kind of like, it was. I would say it was a misstep. Unfortunately, they announced it and then they had to take it back. But here we are. Let's move into the acceptance phase of all of this together.
Yeah, it'll take time. I understand. I understand though why it's disappointing that some people don't ever come around. Then I get it. Mm-hmm. I get it. The game that you saw and you were sold on is not the same game that's going to be released.
Right.
That's fine.
There's no change.
And in light of that, you've decided not to get it, and totally makes sense. I totally get it. I'm excited for it, and I think it's gonna be fun. So,
and we'll be streaming a lot of it. So if that'll help you make your decision. If you watch so Jersey Jack did stream it this past week with the new disc mech in it. They did say they're gonna adjust the art on it a little bit to make the coloring look more like the original disc. It's gonna be the same art, but just colored slightly differently. So I think that'll help, because it's a lot deeper red now than the original. The original was more like of a tan.
Sure.
So I think if they get the color a little bit,
yeah,
like
it didn't look good because compared to what you were expecting. So
right.
if they fix that will help.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. More. Stay tuned. Derek said this is not going to result in delays in production, and it will start shipping this summer.
So check out the article on This Week in Pinball, because they go more in depth, and it's a great resource for all updated information on the pinball world.
Yes.
In easily digestible format, which is what I like.
ThisWeekinPinball.com.
Yeah. We're all busy people. You don't need the drama. Just give me the nuts and bolts. Boom.
Get right to it. All right. So let's hit on a little spooky pinball news. Total Nuclear Annihilation. We didn't talk about this last time. I think this had happened before our last podcast, but we never mentioned it. So I wanted to mention it. Scott Denisi's been hanging out in chat a lot, so I wanted to give him a tip of the hat and say, check out TNA. Total Nuclear Annihilation has been updated with new software. There's 2 new modes that are, as far as I know, never been done before in pinball. There's a co-op mode and a speedrun mode.
Okay.
So co-op lets you pair up with somebody else and attack the reactors together, which is awesome, because it's, unless you're a Bowen Cairns or a Carl D'Angelo, you're probably not going to be able to do it by yourself.
Does everybody get 3 balls, but you just like it's like a 6-ball game
right
in a sense.
between 2 players, and you're working. Your scores are the same, and you're working through the.
So
through
it's
the
simple.
game.
It's just a 6-ball game, but I get that's cool.
Split up among
Why
the 2
not?
players.
Why not throw that in there?
And there's also, I'm not sure exactly how the speedrun modes work, but I think it's like who can get to the first reactor fast enough. I don't know if there's one to who can get to reactor 9 fast enough.
I'm enjoying the chat. Yeah.
You guys are distracting him.
I'm sorry when the people listening in the podcast can't see some of the gems. It's worth tuning in live.
That's why
I'll
I
tell
gotta
you.
watch live.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. So speedrun modes, TNA co-op mode, check it out. It makes me wonder if something like a speedrun mode in a pinball machine. So we've tried to, like Tim Sexton tried to get pinball. I think he was going to do Game of Thrones pinball, and he submitted it for a speed run at Pinball Done or at Awesome Games Done Quick or Games Done Quick. I can't remember which one, and they denied it. I wonder if having like an official speed run mode in a pinball machine would encourage them to include it, because that's an event that gets a ridiculously large audience, and to be able to put a pinball machine on stage for that event and have somebody speed run it, that'd be awesome. So hopefully this kind of innovation and this type of thinking will kind of let pinball reach a larger audience in a different sort of kind of unique way. So
Awesome.
Good job, Scott.
Yeah. He's got the game out and he's still innovating.
Oh my God, it's awesome.
Kudos to you, man.
Yeah,
Keep it up.
amazing.
We need more of that.
All right. Thunderbirds. This is not a game we've talked about very much, and I know this is a favorite of Wildcat, so I'm sure he'll have a comment about this game. But
Yeah. We should just Skype him in and let him just stand the segment.
yeah, so Thunderbirds. This is the first pinball machine from Home Pin. They're out of Australia. They don't want Americans to buy this, I guess. I don't know if that's still the thing, but it was like 5 years ago when they first announced it. Being manufactured in China. It's finally going into production. The MSRP is $4,999, so I think that's significant for the low cost they're able to produce these for. Oh, that's Iron Maiden.
It's $4,500
$4,999
for in that U.S. prices.
Yeah,
Australia.
it's U.S.
Okay.
$5,000 U.S. So yeah, it's a lot on the playfield. It's got some cheesy stuff like little plastic trees and stuff. They may have taken those out, but yeah, there you go. It's got a DMD. It doesn't have a color screen or anything like that. I've heard mixed things about the code. I don't know. Who knows if there will ever be one around here to play, but there you go. I wanted to at least mention it. Thunderbirds, new pinball machine from a manufacturer, manufacturer. It's noteworthy. We got to mention it at least. So there you go. Thunderbirds are go or something. All right. Let's.
We got a question from the chat.
We do.
We'll do real quick hot take.
Okay.
The question was Houdini or Batman 66.
I haven't played Houdini that much, but based on the new code, I'm going to go Batman 66.
I haven't played Houdini that much either, but I've never played it and enjoyed it for the short time I played it. And even when I played Batman for the first time, I liked how it shoots pretty much. So right now, overwhelmingly Batman. But in all fairness, I would need to play Houdini a lot more to give a really good opinion that I can stand on with like firm ground.
Yeah. So hopefully, our friend James, we've streamed Alien from his house. He just got a Houdini. He's enjoying it a lot. Hopefully he holds on to it for a few weeks so we can get out there and stream it. I want to go out there on a weekend and play it and put some time in on it.
As Pidaven got right to the point and says Houdini is a turd. So that's viewer comment. Again,
there's a hot take.
I'm just trying to fill the folks listening on the podcast driving in the car some of the hard-hitting commentary from the chat. I appreciate it. Can't get to all of it,
Yeah.
but there's some nuggets there.
You throw it out there. There's a chance we
they
might
said
read
it. I did not.
That's right. We're just reading the chat.
I think the chat is mostly Batman 66, but there's some. There's not a lot of Houdinis. It's just Houdini is a turd. So I saw Houdini in there, but
It's surrounded by all the Batman 66 moves.
All right.
That's why it stood out. All right. So that's going to do it for the news. Let's share some personal updates, what we've been doing over the past month in pinball. We got some kind of general stuff from the two of us, and then we'll give our personal updates. So one of the coolest things that happened was Martin and Robin from Pinside came to Buffalo.
yeah, that was awesome.
I know.
I never thought that would happen. The pinball thing, and that's what a great experience.
I know.
They're awesome guys. Thank you.
Super nice guys. They were on like a pinball tour of North America. They started at Texas Pinball Festival. Then they went to the Ohio show. And then they went to Buffalo. And then they went to Toronto. And then I think maybe they went to New York City too. I don't know. They were all over. It was crazy. But super nice guys. They played. We wanted to give them the full American experience, so we played Big Buck Hunter with them. Then we took them to a bar that had taxidermy on the walls.
Yeah.
And they had the Big Buck Hunter video games. We played that.
Yeah.
So it was a good time. Glad they made a few hours to hang out with us.
Yeah.
Kudos to you guys. So check out Pinside. All right. I'm wearing a Path of Play shirt. That's because we're doing a Path of Play split flipper tournament on Saturday for Path of Play Day. And why don't you I think there's one spot left right now, right?
There's one spot left. It's at a Flying Bison Brewery. And right now we have a Tommy there, but we're going to bring in 2 more games just for that tournament. So kudos to Buffalo Pinball and Arcade Company, which I'm 1/5 member. I don't know how you factor that in. We brought somebody else on. But yeah, we're doing it. And the proceeds, 50% of the proceeds from the entry fee will go to benefit Path of Play. It's $20 per team. It's up to 12 teams. So that's just how many we can accommodate there. And last I checked, there's one spot open. So if you're in the Buffalo area or you want to drive up, it's this Saturday, April 28th. It starts at 2 o'clock. And if you go to our website, Facebook page and also website, there's information on there on how to sign up.
Yep.
So go check that out.
Do it for the kids. So there's going to be a live stream that Mike from Path of Play is going to be doing. It starts at 7 p.m. Hopefully, it's going to feature a look into the stream or a look into the tournament. In the past, we're going to record it while the tournament's going on, but he's going to air it later. So you'll be able to see a little bit of a peek into the tournament behind the scenes here in Buffalo. Also, Neil McRae out of the United Kingdom is going to be inviting a bunch of folks over to his house for that. He's got a ton of stuff lined up, so definitely check it out. Twitch.tv/Path of Play.
Can I just say that Kevin is my split flipper partner, and I'm going to predict that we're going to win.
Oh, yeah.
So put that out there. We're gonna crush it.
Yeah.
Tired of losing. Had a couple bad months in the 3 Strikes tournament.
Yep.
Tired of losing. We're gonna win.
It's time to crush it. You saw us do it on the when we battled straight down the middle at Expo.
It was like a Harlem Globetrotters thing going on.
Yeah.
You know, we like passing behind the back and stuff. Yeah, we got this.
We crushed him. We let him feel good. We let Zach win that first game, and then it was just like
That's not true. They won it fair and square. You won it fair and square.
yeah, that one game.
They don't. I like those guys. They don't cause any trouble. But that was good. That was good. We were on fire. This is what happens. We lost the game, and then it's like, all right, enough of the nonsense. Let's get our act together.
Let's get it together.
All right.
All right. Oh, speaking of This Week in Pinball, they did a This Week in Pinball around the Playfield with the Buffalo Pinball. So if you want to hear all the origin stories of all the bros, so it's me, Nick, Jay, Rob, Jeff, and Martha, I think, are all on there.
What's that?
The This Week in Pinball around the Playfield.
Yeah. I forgot about that already.
Yeah. So that was last week. You can check that out. Thanks to Jeff over at This Week in Pinball for doing that. That was fun to do. And last but certainly not least, I want to make the official statement that we are accepting our invitation to the Podcaster Bloodbath tournament at Replay FX Saturday night after the A Division finishes. It's going to be us. It's going to be Pinball Players Podcast. It's going to be Mrs. Pin. It's going to be Head to Head Pinball. It's going to be Slam Tilt. I don't think they made it in.
They don't get to play?
No. Well, I don't know.
There could be more nominations?
Not yet. Not yet. It was us versus them this week, and we got picked. So we're in.
I'll tell you what. Those guys, great podcast editor, Rod Hallett.
He's amazing.
He's
really.
a good pinball player, but he's an even better podcast editor. Let me just say. Kudos to Ron.
He's got a lot of Bruceisms to edit out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in all seriousness, it's going to be a lot of fun. The thread kind of blew up today because we know Ron and Bruce really well, so we don't have a hard time poking fun at each other. There have been, trophies being posted and trash talk happening, and I guess there's actually a trash can trophy that we can win, so I'm really kind of excited.
He's got us. Well, Chuck Webster and the folks in the committee, they got us just fighting each other, though.
They do.
You see what they did there?
Uh-huh.
Don't fall for it, Bruce and Ron. All right. We got this.
We got to
unite
unite force
upstate
against all the other podcasts.
That's right.
All right.
At least for upstate,
Yep. All those
let
New
it go to at
Englanders.
least an upstate New York podcast. I can live with that.
I like that. I will say that we do have a ringer lined up.
Yeah.
And you're going to find out who it is next month, so stay tuned. He's a ringer not only in pinball skills, but also trash talking skills. He's one of the best.
I don't know, but you think trash talking skills? It's not. He doesn't talk trash. It's an explosive behavior.
Yeah, well, that's distracting.
Enraging.
Intimidating. I like
Rage,
it.
intimidation. All right.
We're going to be officially presented with a Play Angry shirt at the event.
All right.
So, yeah.
I got to get another one. Mine broke.
Yours broke.
Yeah.
Nick raged out so bad he like hulked out of his shirt. So there you go. It's not Rob. No. I said
Rob would have been great.
Rob would
We discussed this.
he
At
would be the
lunch.
number one trash talker.
Yeah, that's where he shines.
The pinball skills though, like we played against Rob in league.
Rob can make somebody cry.
Yeah.
At this thing. That's how he's really restrained when you see him play pinball with us. He doesn't say anything because what he says is so powerful.
Yes,
we have to tone it down.
It's like, he just stands in the back during most Bruce
Yeah.
shows because he knows.
He knows.
We won't be on Twitch much longer if Rob has his way.
Exactly.
But yeah, his pinball skills, we held him to a 1 in league this month. So
Well, I think we learned why. I mean, his mom left him at the shopping mall when he was 11 because he was being a dick.
He's at Hills.
Yeah.
He wanted a Sega Genesis at Hills, and he was being a dick about it. And his mom just left him there.
And made him walk home.
made
He's
him
11
walk
years
home.
old.
So
that's Rob Metzler.
Explains a lot about Rob.
We'll have him on the show. We'll talk about that sometime. Therapy with Rob.
I told Mickey he could come on and read Pinside too, because that would be
Oh
entertaining.
my god, yeah. That was one of the original ideas. Rob reads Pinside and commentates on it.
Let him read that Jersey Jack Pirates thread. And
When it's a month and we got nothing, we're gonna go down that rabbit hole. Maybe might be our last show ever.
Goodbye, bye everybody.
It's a swan song. All right.
All right. That's it for our general updates. Some personal updates for me. I had a week of vacation this month, and I went to Florida. I went to Disney World and Universal Studios and all that stuff with the family. And I'm standing in line for, I think it was the safari ride at Animal Kingdom, Disney's Animal Kingdom. And I'm, screwing around on my phone, looking around, and I see a guy walk by. I go, I think that's the guy from Circus Maximus. The Circus Maximus is working on the Kingpin remake and the Circus Pinball Circus remake. So I'm like, because I had just watched I heard him on the This Flippin' podcast, and I also watched the Texas Pinball Festival. They did a stream of his seminar. So he came back around, like the lines crossed, and we passed each other, and then we were coming up to each other again. I'm like, that's definitely him. I'm going to say something. So I was like, are you Paul from Circus Maximus? And he goes, yes, I am. It's like, he's like, how weird is it to be recognized in line, waiting in line for an amusement park ride? I said, it's a small pinball world. So there you go. That was my brush with pinball at Disney World.
Fantastic. So the chat wants to know, did Rob get the Genesis? He must have got the Genesis. Sorry, I got moved on.
Yeah, I can't read the chat while I'm talking because I just won't stop.
He must have got the Genesis because he's always trying to challenge me to NHL 94. So like 4 years ago, I granted him his wish, and I crushed him. And I was doing like the horn noises, and I was dancing around. He was really upset.
I don't think he got the Genesis.
Since.
I think he didn't get it. I don't think his mom bought it for him. He probably got one.
Or he went to like Phil's house and played or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll find out. This is a good question. That's a good question. All right.
That's amazing. All right. So yeah, Paul, and then we became Facebook friends, and it was all good. So shout out to Paul. Good to see you. Good luck with Kingpin. All right. So then I went to Universal Studios. And I was in one of the arcades, and I found a tech. And I said, is there any pinball in Universal Studios? And he said, yes, there's a Spider-Man over by the Spider-Man ride. So I went to play the Spider-Man ride, had my Buffalo Pinball hoodie on, put up a couple replays on it, walked away, gave some kids the replays, felt good about myself. But the flipper was kind of sticking, and the playfield was really dirty, so it needed some love. But there is pinball at Universal Studios if you want to play it. Go check it out by the Spider-Man ride. All right, what's the update from chat?
I'm not reading that. Wildcat said Rob murdered a family and stole their Genesis. This is all right.
All right, things are going off the rails.
That's
what
we
else?
never go off the rails, so that's okay.
Never.
Once in a while, we're allowed a little leeway.
I also went to my first ever Stern Army tournament out at the Silver Ball Saloon. Bruce hosted it. I didn't win anything. I got like 6th place in the tournament, but I got a sweet Stern Army dog tag, so I'm officially a private or something in the Stern Army. I don't know.
All right,
but it was fun. Definitely check out Silver Ball Saloon in Rochester, East Rochester, New York. He runs tournaments basically every weekend. He did a critical hit tournament this past weekend, so I couldn't make it because we were hosting league, but check him out. Highly recommended. He just got a couple new machines, including Lord of the Rings. So that was fun. And we hosted League Night, which we talked about. Game room update. I sold my Maximum Force. This is following up from last month. I sold my Maximum Force gun game. Now I'm on the hunt. This is everybody listening. I have a special request. I need a Big Buck Hunter pinball, a video game in my life. So I want a Big Buck Hunter Pro, preferably World. There's a guy that you guys streamed from Brandon's house last week. His Tales from the Crypt. He has one in the background. I'm like, hit him up for it, trying to trade pinball machines for it. He won't get rid of it. I need one.
Okay.
So if you know where one is, hook me up. All right, that's all I got.
TJ Pietro says, "What's your favorite food at the Silver Ball Saloon?"
Ooh,
I go with the burger.
Burger was good.
Yeah.
I like the. It's got good appetizers and stuff too.
All right.
Like they used to get like fried macaroni and cheese. That was pretty crazy.
All right. Sounds good.
It's not health food, but it's bar food.
Yeah.
And it's reasonably priced, and it's right there. You're playing pinball and eating. What
There
more
you go.
do you want?
Okay. Moving on.
Awesome. All right, Nick, you got any updates?
No updates.
No updates. Well,
I don't think I'm going to have any game room updates for a long time because,
Yeah.
like I said, I got Pirates coming this summer. I'm moving my games from upstairs to downstairs, so they're all going to be in the basement so I can have a dedicated VR room.
Oh, yeah.
And then once they go in the basement, I feel like it's harder for me to move them out there. I like the games I have. Martha likes the games that she owns. So we're not really moving games much. And now with the business buying games that, like the business is getting Iron Maiden. So now they have access to Iron Maiden. So it's things like that. The community's gotten bigger. There's more pinball on location. Like the need for me to buy and sell machines has decreased rapidly, which is great. This is like the point that I've wanted to be at, where, we were starving for pinball years ago. And if you want to play a game, well, listen, you're going to have to either drive a couple hours away or you're going to have to go and buy the game, which meant selling a game. So we're in a good place right now. I don't think my collection is going to be moving much, but we'll see. Next month, I'll be like, I just bought this. There you go.
Surprise.
I don't know. We'll see.
You're too busy living in virtual world with...
It's great. It saves me some money.
Virtual games are a lot less expensive than real life games.
They are.
Call you Parzival. Yeah. Awesome. I think it takes us to our review. Let's talk about pinball machines.
Let's go.
I am okay. This life is a bore. At least I've gotten played before. Are you ready for your eye exam?
Oh, baby. It's Monopoly. That's the game we're reviewing today.
So this is dedicated to our supporters on Patreon. So the way we do reviews or choose what games to review, basically Kevin and I will come up with 3 games that we're thinking about reviewing for that month. Sometimes it's from suggestions from the the chat. I saw hot trash written in the thing.
Wow.
Jeez. The chat's really been on fire today.
You guys are saucy today.
All right, I might have to turn that chat off. All right, anyways, some of the suggestions come from our viewers. But this week we threw some more modern games up instead of games from the 90s we did recently.
And we did Jungle Lord.
Yeah, we did Jungle Lord, so I want to get back to a little more modern, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what they picked. So thank you, folks, on Patreon. You can search for Buffalo Pinball on Patreon. If you support us at the $5 or more level, you'll get to vote, and you can kind of pick what content we do on the show and what we review.
There you go.
So
I can't read the chat anymore.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All
It's
right.
all your fault, Hool.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about Monopoly. We're going to go through the normal rundown, but this is a 2001 game from Stern Pinball Incorporated. I was surprised that Pinside actually had the production number listed. Stern usually doesn't list those, but it was
they did.
3,640 produced, which is a decent amount.
Yeah, it seems like a decent amount.
Yeah, especially for that era. Pinside price range puts this game at $2,500 to $2,900. The game design is by Pat Lawler and artwork by John Yowsey and Kurt Anderson. So, as we typically do, we're going to talk about the art, sounds, toys, DMD and lighting, gameplay, rules, and lastability. So let's start by talking about art, shall we? What do you think?
Gets the job done.
Yeah. Nailed it.
I hope I didn't disappoint anybody there. I didn't want to. So there you
Yeah.
go. I don't like the cabinet. I don't know what it is about that, but the cabinet just doesn't look that black, solid black cabinet, and the
The Monopoly logo.
What is
Own
that?
it
What's
all.
that yellow underneath there? Am I just looking at it
Yeah,
wrong?
there's something going on the bottom. It's hard to tell in that picture.
Yeah, maybe it's just a picture. I like the back glass.
Yeah.
It's pretty vibrant. Mm-hmm. I think it's attractive, right? And that's
Yeah.
what it needs to do. So good colors.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a fun picture of it. The playfield itself is pretty basic, but I mean it's got the Monopoly board on there. So what are you gonna possibly do? I don't know. It's going to devolve into talking about colors. This playfield reminds me of the playfield sort of from what's that casino game from Stern?
Oh, High
Roller Casino. Yeah. This game came out around that time, not too many years after it, and it's got that vibe a little bit to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got the early Stern feel to it.
Definitely not bad.
Yeah, it's what I would expect a Monopoly pinball machine to look like.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of the Monopoly board and the box and things like that. It's got those colors. It's got the little icons all over, like 3 parking signs and the roll and collect and all. It's got the train on the one ramp and it's good. I think it's for the subject matter. I think it does a good job for
Kevin's just saying it got the job done.
No, I'm not. I'm saying it's good.
Yeah. All right.
It gets the job.
Well, you said for the subject matter.
That's well, you have to apply it to it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want an Iron Maiden
It's good.
game to look
It's
like
good
that.
for what it's been tasked with, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I would agree.
It's
with
representing a board game, not a metal
It's
band.
good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt your eyes.
It was Pat Lawler's first Sterno. I guess I didn't realize that.
All right, cool. Thank you, Osric.
I wasn't really in the scene at that point. I've only played it since. All right, sound. Dude, the callouts. I love the callouts on this game.
Yeah,
Bye-bye now.
it's got that low fidelity era of Stern. I mean, Lord of the Rings had that as well. But it's got good call outs. I like the music catchy. It gets in my head like when you start like cash grab and stuff and you hit a shot for cash grab, it makes that satisfying thunk of the money and it sounds pretty engaging on that game.
I find myself quoting that game when I walk away from it, so it's good.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's good sound. I wish it was again higher fidelity, but that's just the Arrow Stern. So what are you gonna do? But what the sound package in there is good.
Yep, like it. Sound, music, callouts, good. Toys. Not much for toys on this game.
So the toy, I guess, would be the bank, right?
Yeah,
because you kind of
smash the door.
It's like a garage-esque thing from Simpsons. You smash the bank, and then the bank swings open, and you can shoot the ball through that shot. If you want to, again, we're getting really like pushing the limit of what a toy is. Yeah. There's a spinning a flipper that spins around.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that Hool likes a lot.
Does it spin around the one we have on location, or
I think so? I can't remember.
Ours, I don't know. There's some kind of argument whether it's supposed to spin or not, or when it's supposed to spin, and if it's supposed to have a rubber on it or not have rubber on it. I don't know. Anyways, long story short, there really isn't much in the way of toys on this game.
No.
The opening bank door is,
I guess that's it.
The toy, and that's sort of we're getting into the point. Is it a toy or not a toy? I guess the door opens.
Yeah.
It's a toy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's a bash toy. The Chung Lee flipper. Nice.
Yeah.
Little Street Fighter 2. Someday we're going to have to review Street Fighter 2.
Someone brought up Bone Busters.
Oh, man.
So next month we'll put Street Fighter 2, Bone Busters. Maybe to have them go head to head, and you'll get one of them.
Ooh, baby. That's exciting. All
People are already planning not to tune in.
Don't bother downloading next month. All right. DMD and lighting. Lighting doesn't really strike me as anything special. The DMD gets the job done.
Lighting doesn't really have any like cool moments.
Yeah, I don't remember like any effects or anything that really stand out.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? If it had great effects, we've played this game a lot. Mm-hmm. So I should say this. We have this at Game On, and I think Kevin and I have become very familiar with the game. Mm-hmm. And before that, my only exposure was at Bruce Nightingale's. He had like a Monopoly like limited edition, like the chrome plate and everything like that. So it's just cosmetic, but he had like a special one. And I had always heard from Pinside that this game was kind of like garbage or crap, or people didn't like it. It didn't go for a month.
So it's blah, blah, blah.
So I never really, I played a little bit at Bruce's, but I never spent much time with it until this last year. So that's kind of where I'm coming with it. I know this game a lot now. I played it a heck of a lot. But yeah, in terms of lighting, I can't think of anything impressive on it. So it's just sort of there.
Steve Daniel says the lighting is a minus. This is a Stern from the era where they blink all of the GI on and off for excitement.
Does that
So
game?
it's clicky with the relays going off.
I can't remember moments when that game's clicking either, but it's just it's not that impressive.
Not good. I do like the mini DMD on the playfield, like R.A. Savage says. And my favorite part of that is when you tilt and it gives you the little frowny face. And it's
I never noticed that.
I love that.
Okay.
Yep. And it makes an awesome sound. It's like brrr, and it's the frown face on the mini DMD. Beautiful touch.
Yeah.
I love little touches like that. So it gets the job done.
Well, the DMD animations are fine.
Yeah. The cash grab, like when you hit
I like the cash grab one.
shots and the money explodes.
Or like the multi-ball start where the ball rolls up in the house.
Ooh, yeah.
That's,
that one's
that's good too.
Mm-hmm. It's got some moments.
The other ones, there's not much other than that.
Yeah.
Right, there's the board chase where the car just sort of moves, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sort of struggling for like other really cool moments on the DMD. It seems like it's lacking a lot of animations.
It's got some good moments, but nothing.
Does that stand out?
Nothing super stand out. Yeah.
Okay, and I've seen the game a lot, so that says a lot.
Rules. What would you say on rules on this game?
Did we talk about gameplay?
No, we didn't. Let's talk about gameplay first because that's first on the list.
Oh my god, Kevin!
This is my first time doing this.
That's a close one.
God. All right.
I like how this game shoots.
Me too.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Adam's Family Light.
Adam's Family Light. Is there a Pat Lawler game that it's even mimics more than Adam's Family? I'm trying to think like the mode start shot. Is that an Adam's Family shot?
That's like the shot that would feed the
okay,
thing.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot of similar games, right?
Yeah, it's the layout is similar. How it's executed is different. So like the mode shots up the middle instead of the scoop. But the scoop's right there.
So you would like, if someone who's never seen this game, out of all Pat Lawler's games, you would say this is most like Adam's Family.
I think so.
Okay.
Chat can correct me if I'm wrong or if there's
Steve Daniels will jump in. Yeah. He's itching.
Give it 30 seconds and then we'll have an answer for it.
But it shoots well. I mean, the shots in the game feel good. I like it. It's a game that has some flow to it. Hitting like the upper right flipper up to like the side ramp, classic Pat Lawler for like the jackpot. That's there. It's gonna all feel pretty familiar.
I like the skill shot where you can plunge it into the mode start shot. That's cool. It's very similar.
That is
plunge into thing.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. That's where the thing is, right?
Yeah,
so if you got that down, but I like that skill shot. That's a cool skill shot in that game.
Yep.
Very, very good call on that. Backhanding it into, I don't do this a lot in the game just because it's not terribly lucrative, but you can kind of backhand that railroad shot.
Yep.
And that's kind of this cool like mini ramp that turns around.
Yep.
I don't know. I like that. It's familiar, but there's enough in there that makes it unique or different, right?
Yeah. The only thing that's kind of wonky is that spinning flipper, right? It'll sometimes like grab it and then throw it right down the middle on you.
At least on the one that we have on location, there's always seems like there's a threat of it, yet it doesn't.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to get it into that shot. Like the interesting thing is it will go in there if you try to get the skill shot and you fail, like you don't plunge it enough, it will fall into that off the bat. So now the ball's in danger. But for the most part, it doesn't go in that shot a lot.
Yeah.
But it's just a worthless shot too.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I guess that gets in the rules. It's just who cares if it goes in there?
Yeah, and we can move into that. I think we got gameplay covered. I agree that I like the layout. It's a kind of a classic Pat Lawler layout. Yeah, shots are good, feels good, fun to shoot. Boom, gameplay. Rules. I think that's kind of what holds this game back a little bit. It's not super deep. I'm not as familiar with the rules as you are on it because you've gotten to the wizard mode a couple times. I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, I think the wizard mode, at least for me, and it's not like we have this game set up super easy on location. Like you can barely nudge it at all.
The tilt is tight, yeah.
I feel like if you have it in your collection, you're a pretty good player. You're gonna get to the wizard mode, and that's gonna be it. I think it needs more. It's sort of basic rules, like start a mode. Okay, that's it, and then you've got like one multi-ball that you can get. I think there's a random multi-ball in like the community chest, like mystery ward.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is that's like not a shot that you ever go for, and it just doesn't really fall into that. So I've like only saw a person do it once. I've never gotten that like random multi-ball, which is crazy because I played the game so many times. So you've only got one multi-ball in like regular play.
Well, 2 with the railroad.
Okay, 2 with the railroad.
Yeah.
And again, I don't really go for that. They should almost make you go for the railroad to get to the wizard mode.
Yeah.
because then you'll see that. Okay, so you get that. And then, of course, the wizard mode is kind of cool. It's a timed mode, so you can get like unlimited balls for a certain period of time.
Classic Pat Lawler wizard mode, basically.
And like hitting certain shots will build houses on the property that you're on, and then like building hotels on the property you're on, and it's kind of cool. The only disappointing thing is that like the wizard mode, you can think you played it like a great game and end up with like 3 million, and like you can get more in the multi-ball than that, like a decent multi-ball than you can in like a really good performance during wizard mode. So that there's like a balancing issue too, right? That's kind of disappointing. Most of the modes though give an okay score, so you're not going to cheese the game like you would
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you're timing out every mode. So that's a plus. I think it edges out that game. But you know, a game that came out in 2001. Wow, 2001. I was almost thinking 2003. So 2001. It's really good for the 2001 Stern.
Yeah.
All right, maybe it's the best, right? Because it takes until 2003 when you got Simpsons and Lord of the Rings. But it's really good for that era, but also limited. You're thinking like Williams-esque rules.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I think that's fair. Yeah, so it's kind of in that in-between stage of the kind of 90s more simplified rules and the more advanced, like super advanced rules you got in Lord of the Rings and Simpsons Pinball Party. So with that said, what would you say about lastability?
So I think that's what holds this game back from lastability. I don't want it in my collection. It wouldn't last long in my collection. I can see why people would get rid of it, just because when they start getting to the wizard mode, or they have a deja vu where there's like one way to play the game and it's there's not much there. There are games that are mode based and kind of follow that, but there's just more there. There's more wizard modes. Or it's more challenging. That game lacks that, so it might be good for somebody for their first game, or you can say in a larger collection, and the price is very reasonable. Like Pinside said, what, $2,500 to $2,900? I think we got ours even less than that.
Yeah,
like $2,100,
nice.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So I think the price is reasonable, but I don't see this game having, I see people getting bored of it if they had in their collection sooner than a lot of other games.
Yeah, and that's got to be what keeps the price down, right? Because it's got everything else going for it. It's just the rules.
Theme.
The rules aren't like deep enough to make it a keeper, really.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the biggest negative on that game that stands out.
Yeah, I think it's a great. A lot of people always ask what's a great bang for the buck game. What's a good first pin to buy? I would recommend this one as that sort of game because it's a modern era Stern. It's got good reliability. I mean, it's been on location for you guys. It's been holding up
great. People love it at the location we have at Game On. That was like, it's one of our top earners, or at least a top return on investment
Absolutely.
game. Yeah, people like it.
Yeah, classic theme, family friendly. Really can't go wrong. Would recommend grabbing that as
and straightforward enough that people were able to figure it out.
Yeah.
There's something to be said to that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of folks there. They're gamers, but they're not pinball players.
Yeah,
and they gravitated to this.
They hated like AC/DC.
They were able to figure out the rules and what's going on, and they started challenging each other. So, what game piece do we pick?
Battleship.
The Battleship.
Yeah.
Give me the thimble.
All right, Kevin. We gotta give it
an overall.
Let's go through our rating system.
All right. Where the heck is it? I haven't updated
our
the
new
website
listeners.
In a while. So the last few.
So here we do it on a 1 to 10. And 0 to 2 is burn it. Light that thing on fire. 3 to 5 is it's simply an expensive nightlight. 6 to 8 is a solid game. And then 9 to 10, Kevin and I think that it's definitely worth being purchased.
Okay. Buy it.
Kevin,
Go out and buy it.
What do you think it is?
I think it's at the low end of the solid game category. I'm going to give it a 6. I don't think it's an expensive nightlight. I think it deserves a little bit better recognition than that. So yeah, I'm going 6 on Monopoly.
Okay, I'll go all the way up to, I'm between 6.5 and a 7. I would say Monopoly is a 6.5. Only, I think lastability knocks it down a lot. Mm-hmm. And maybe 6.5 doesn't sound great, but it's a good game. Like, I have a lot of respect for Monopoly. It doesn't deserve sort of the negativity that has surrounded it. When I got into the hobby and I thought, oh man, why would anybody play that game? It's going to pleasantly surprise you, but it's going to show its limitations not too long into playing the game.
Yeah, as you get better at pinball, it's gonna kind of wear thin. But other than that,
certainly solid game.
It's a solid game.
Yeah.
All right, time for viewer listener Q&A here on Birdie Even Talk Pinball. First up is an email from our buddy Pin Daddy, who cut out our Rudy clips for the intro. Stephen Haberman, he sent in an email and he says, "Can you guys talk through any etiquette in the pinball hobby on buying and reselling machines? I heard some fuss over someone having purchased an LE machine only to list it for resale with a markup. This is how in some other hobbies pay for their collections. For example, going to San Diego Comic-Con and buying as many of the exclusive items available there that you can buy, only to sell the ones you don't want at a markup to help fund the trip or help pay for the items you bought for yourself. I realize flippers are not good for the collector's market, but in the same sense, when something you own has value, it seems wise to cash in when the value is high and buy when the value is low." So he says, what no-nos would you consider when buying, selling, reselling pinball machines? And I want to say I appreciate this kind of comparison with other hobbies. A similar kind of thing came up on Tilt forums. There was this discussion about pinball etiquette in tournaments. And in like the fighting game scene, video game scene, if you don't talk trash and like hype yourself up, people think you're a scrub or a noob.
Is that why there's some people in like we've encountered recently?
I think so.
Do
It
that?
kind of like shined a light on like, oh, this is like the norm in this other gaming community. Where in pinball, it's like we treat it like golf. It's like, don't talk to me, silence.
Yeah.
So when I saw this too, it was like, oh, really? That's interesting because people in pinball tend to really kind of look down on those who flip pinball machines or see it as an investment. It's to be played, not to be made money on. It's not the stock market. I kind of agree. Like, I don't see pinball as an investment. I also don't care if somebody wants to, take a risk on spending $8,000 and maybe it goes up in value by $1,000 and you can flip it. If you got the means to do that, I guess go for it. If not, then, just stay out of the game.
Yeah, so I mean, his question is, I guess in his example, the way I interpret it is Kevin is selling an LE, all right, in this hypothetical scenario. I see that Kevin's pricing the LE, he's priced it less than I know I can sell it at. So I buy it from him. The next day I put it up for sale for $1,000 more because I know somebody's going to buy it. So is that wrong? Well, listen, there's nothing wrong. I mean, it's perfectly legal to do. I think the seller has some accountability or responsibility of thinking to do some research and find out what the value of the machine is. Because in this case, it sounds like the person who sold the LE machine might have sold it for too little. And in this day and age, it's pretty easy to do some research and ask people what the selling price is. So that's personal accountability. So if somebody swoop in, if they want to spend their time flipping games, so be it. Is that a person that I want to deal with, right? Like, not really. I rather deal with and be friends with people who are passionate about the hobby, are passionate about selling games at a fair price, right? And promoting pinball. So, I'm not saying I want to have both ways. But I'm not going to fault the person for doing that. They want to do that. There's nothing inherently wrong with it.
I'd much rather a game go to somebody who really wants it and would appreciate it.
Yeah.
And have it in their collection and enjoy it. That said, if I run across somebody's selling a Tron for, $3,000 and I play it for a couple months and I decide it's not me, I'm not going to sell it for $3,000. I'm going to sell what the market value is because I want to get as much out of it as I can so I can put that into a new pinball machine.
Yeah.
And now, I might cut a little bit of a deal because I got a deal on it, but this is an expensive hobby. I don't fault anyone at all for trying to get as much as they can out of a pinball machine.
And if somebody's going to buy a game and fix it up, then of course they're going to put a markup. So that's great, and I think that's actually good for the hobby. So he's got another question.
This one here.
Yes. Okay. So I want to come back to the fighting game thing in a second, but let's finish his question. So what no-nos should you consider when buying, selling, reselling pinball machines?
Always see and play the game before you buy it. Buying online is tricky.
Don't buy it online.
Unless you absolutely know the seller and have built up a relationship. New games are different than used games.
Right.
Basically talking used games. New games, though, don't play MSRP for it. Always contact the distributor and ask for a price. They can't list the price online that they sell it for. Usually they sell it for a few $100s less than MSRP, but by whatever rules Stern has. They're not allowed to say publicly what they sell it for if it's under MSRP. So
Right. So Skymon, and this is exactly what I thought when I first read Pin Daddy's question. If the seller gets what they want, so they got their asking price, it should not matter what the buyer does with it. Exactly. That the game is sold, the buyer can do whatever he wants. He can go in the parking lot and light it on fire, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it's a dick move or whatever, but like he can do what he wants because the seller got what the seller wanted. So, no nos.
Buying, selling.
No nos. I had another great thought. I swear it was really
The chat room is really throwing you off today.
ingenious. Well, there's some good content there. Do you have anything else while I think of that?
Have a friend that can help you move it if you need help moving it. Buying, selling, reselling. List the game honestly. Don't hype it up as everything's working on it if it's not. Just be honest, because the pinball community is small and word's gonna get around if you're not being honest about what you're selling. That's the other thing too, is like get to know the pinball community in your area. So if you don't want to get taken advantage of online by somebody you might not know, get to know the folks in your community. A lot of times folks will be like, well, hey, if you ever sell that game, I'd like the opportunity to purchase it. So you can set up easy transactions, no messing around. Just, hey, that's what I did with Grand Lizard. Somebody in our local scene said, hey, if you ever sell this, let me know. I'd like to buy it. So when it came up for sale, I said, you still want to buy this? He said, yes. I took it to his house. He gave me cash. That was it. Easy peasy.
Yeah, so if you list a game for a price and somebody says I'll take it and they're good on that, but then somebody offers more money, I would honor the first price. I mean,
Yes.
If you made a mistake and you priced it wrong, that's do the right thing and honor that price, right? I've seen it's most people do that, and that's really cool in the hobby.
Yeah.
But sometimes somebody will put a game up on Craigslist and they didn't do the research, and suddenly they'll say yes to one offer, but then people are offering more, and then they'll do something underhand and sell to somebody else.
Yeah, and they'll say, oh, well,
That's not cool.
I underpriced this.
Yeah.
It becomes a bidding war, and that's annoying.
Yeah, do what you want, but that's not cool, man.
Uncool, dude.
So I like what you said about the gaming community. That was insightful because Game On LAN is a gaming center, like computer gaming, LAN gaming, right? And there's been some crossover, and I notice a different attitude sometimes with like smack talk, and I think when they do it, it's jarring. Like what? Like because it is like there is a golf level of etiquette to pinball where we respect the player, we don't say any damaging, disparaging comments, not only when they're playing but afterwards to them. That's not necessarily the case in the gaming community, so there is that interesting crossover. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Side note,
Yeah.
I think maybe
I thought that would be enlightening.
yeah, I think maybe that's something that you have to just explain to people when you see that. Be like, this is not the way the community is, and I really like that about the pinball community. That it is more of the golf etiquette, just respecting the fellow player, giving them their space, not being in their line of sight, and all that, which we've talked about before.
Yeah, I think the difference is the kind of the random nature of pinball, and there's always just that little like snap in your concentration that can send things off. Like if you miss a shot because somebody said something, it's like that's it, you're done. Where in a fighting game, you might get hit, but you can kind of recover and finish out your game. I don't know.
All right, moving on. Good
All
question,
right.
Pin Daddy.
Thank you, Pin Daddy.
Hopefully that's helpful to some people.
All right, Twitter. TurboGraphic7 says, what Willams DMD games do you think are underrated? I recently got a Demo Man because I got so hooked on it playing at League.
That's a good example of an underrated game.
Yeah.
We reviewed that. What was the last
month? With Steve.
I think it's Demo Man gets some love.
Yeah,
it's considered a B game. It's not an A game. So I think that's an underrated game.
I think
not by a lot.
Yeah, I think Fishtails is there too. It gets a lot of hate by some groups. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Pinball Podcast. But I think it's a tough game. It's a challenging game. It's got a goofy theme with wacky music, but it's fun. I always have fun when I play it.
Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah.
Underrated, I think.
That's one I would
brutally
like,
fast game, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Great shots, fast game.
Congo, I don't think is underrated anymore.
Not anymore.
It's kind of hit the price ceiling for Congo.
Yep.
T2,
it was underrated, and not like what happened to it.
T2 is, I think appreciated by most who play it.
So
it might actually be a little overrated. In my opinion.
I think so. I don't really like T2 that much.
People get it because of the theme.
are savage. Don't panic flip. They both said Judge Dredd.
Okay. Judge Dredd. I like Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
The rules aren't... They're a little weird, but the layout's cool and it's fun to shoot.
Yeah. I owned one for like a month and I got really kind of sick of it fast. So
I've owned it in the past too, and I don't anymore. So
I don't know if that's underrated.
Yeah.
It's not slammed. It's not like people hate Judge Dredd. But to me, I think it's where it belongs. I think it's balanced fairly.
2084 says Batman 66. So this is that's Ben. That's Ben.
Does Ben still have
a lot.
his?
Oh, he still got us. He
Well,
must have missed it earlier
bought it.
when we were praising it. We picked it over
Yeah.
Houdini. So
Well, now is it good after a year and a half later?
well, and
we did our review like a year ago.
and Nick and I talked about it's about time to update our reviews. But Batman's still not at 1.0 code. I want to wait until it's at 1.0
Yeah.
to give it the proper update. But it's getting there. I like it a lot better than I did
Let
a
us
year
know
ago.
in 3 years when it's done. Let us know. Then we'll come over, we'll play it for several hours, and then we'll go and give an honest review of it again.
Deal.
All right.
All right. So I think we got the kind of the bases covered on that, on the underrated Willams DMD games.
Moving along.
All right. Rudy Soup has 2 questions. One, can I play with Madness? It's an Iron Maiden reference.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes, sure you can. You played Iron Maiden. Number 2, this is the good one. How long do you guys think until someone Whitewoods an Iron Maiden LE and homebrews it into a zingy bingy?
Jesus Christ. Moving on. All right.
I left that in there for Nick. All right. Pinball Undesirable says Iron Maiden Pro is getting 4 flippers, 2 spinners, 3 drop targets, metal ramps, and service rails instead of pegs. Is this an anomaly or the value we can expect to see out of a Stern Pro going forward?
So I think we sort of talked our way through this earlier. I think it's in lieu of a toy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this came up in the interview because he didn't ask him about the toy, did he?
No.
All right, so I don't think it came up in the interview, but I imagine that Keith was like, no toy, let's put these components into the pinball machine, and that's how he got away with doing that.
Yeah.
I think if there was a toy, there's an expense to that. Like the Aerosmith Jackie thing, there's an expense to that. This,
Yeah.
you're not going to have a Jackie toy and service rails. I don't see that happening. Prove me wrong and don't
Yeah.
change the price, but I don't see it
I
happening.
think Keith said on the interview that service rails are here to stay.
Well, they also jacked up the price, right?
That's true. A couple $100.
Couple $100.
Yeah.
$100 for
They always
each
they
rail.
always sneak up a couple
$100 for each rail. Take away the toy. Boom.
We love you, Stern.
But it's true though. They did jack up the price by a couple $100 from their last release.
Yeah, they always sneak a few extra $100 on there.
Yeah.
So, Boomerski said no more pegs from this point on. That's good.
That's good.
That's all the operators in the world. Thank you. I think it's a plus. All right. So yeah, they're going to put in whatever they have that they can fit in for a $6,000 pinball machine. That's what they're going to put in. Sometimes it's going to be toys. Sometimes it's going to be more shots and flippers. But there's going to be compromise to keep it at that price point.
All right.
All right. One Proco says, how would you feel about another new game with a power ball or maybe a super heavy ball or a glowing ball?
So Avatar threw a Powerball in
The
to
LE.
their LE, right? So like when Avatar came out and they started just doing the LE model, might have been one of the first LE. It was definitely one of the first LEs. I think it was right after Tron, right? Because Tron LE was the first LE.
Technically,
And
it was a premium, but yeah.
Okay. It was called a premium?
Yeah. It's not. If
not
you look
LE.
on the box, it says premium.
All right. Anyways, nerd.
Well, actually,
It's like they just threw a Powerball and to throw a Powerball in.
yeah.
And it's like, that's what you're doing. I think they did it in Rolling Stones.
Did they?
I think they did. No, they had they had the up posts. I think that's what they had on there.
I've never played an LE.
All right, so maybe I'm sorry. I don't think there's a Powerball in Rolling Stones, but I know there's one in Avatar LE. And it's like if you just throw it in there, fine. If you have some theme and it makes sense, then okay. But let's not throw in this gimmick from a game, 30 years ago just because.
Yeah. Tuna says Avatar was a premium too. Actually,
Rolling Stones did have a Powerball?
what?
Yeah, okay, dude. Here, I said that. I'm like, no, they didn't put a Powerball in that. They're just like, Powerballs for everybody.
That's what makes it an LE.
Well, we ordered 1,000 of them, let's put them in there. That's what makes it, charge $1,000 more. They'll buy it. Like, that's the kind of mentality that I don't want to get into.
If it's built in and integrated into the game like it was on Twilight Zone, then yes, I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
If they're just going to throw it in the trough and say, here, this is going to throw you off every once in a while, then why bother?
A glowing ball. I mean, I think that causes problems, like to get to glow, maybe potentially. I know they did it Night Viper driving.
Viper Night
Again,
driving,
maybe if it's like theme and you can show like it makes sense in the theme. Super heavy ball, I think that would create complications of trying to hit shots and stuff, or maybe damaging things on the playfield. So I don't know.
You probably need stronger flippers.
If you can incorporate it into a theme that makes sense, I'll even use your time buying it than just doing it because you're out of ideas.
Yeah, I like it. All right, and he had a second question. How would you like it if Stern made more old games, so like EM/early solid state style? So that's kind of like Monelli.
More modern than Monelli, like early solid state, late 70s, early 80s. Yeah,
updates.
I'd love it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Insane for
Do
years.
you think
that'd
people
be cool.
would buy it for the price they would have to charge, though?
I mean, I guess what would they have to charge, right? I mean, that's what it comes. What is the price on that?
People want it for $3,000. It's not going to be $3,000. It's going to be like $4,500 would be my guess.
This is too much.
Bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
isn't that TNA? No, TNA is way more updated than that.
well, yeah. Well, so in his game, in his question, yeah. All right. Yeah. TNA.
Yeah, I guess we could kind of interpret this question two ways.
TNA, the playfield is like that.
Yeah.
But it's got more modern gimmicks, implementation,
Displays and sound, and
yeah. I like that though. I mean, I like that. I don't like the price on that. That's the issue. I want more.
That's my point. Like
in a game for that. Well, TNA is more than an Iron Maiden. I'd rather have an Iron Maiden.
I think they're the same price, aren't they? Now $6,000 MSRP.
Well, you can get like an Iron Maiden ship for $5,600. I don't doubt you can
True.
get TNA
Yeah.
ship for $5,600.
Yep. Yeah, it limits the market, but people want a brand new Stern Stargazer for $3,000, and that's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
Don't we all?
Yeah. So, but I love that style of game.
Yeah.
And it'd be great to see more of them out there. Just like the Chicago Gaming's releasing the Midway games from the '90s. It's great to see them. All right, we got one from Discord from our buddy Skip Natty. He says, "What are the best worst video modes?"
Go ahead.
All right, I put together a list.
Look at you.
And I had a much easier time coming up with bad ones than good ones. So at the top of my list is Black Rose, the one where you have to like smack the crap out of the button.
That was it. Yep, that's the one I thought of. That's it.
to
I hate
get away
that.
from the shark, and it's like impossible.
Any
You can do it
games
once.
that have you button mashing, like you're gonna break the button in your finger, is stupid.
I like the one where you like throw the knife. That one's okay, but the like just whack the heck out of the button. Forget it. It's like playing Star Wars.
Yeah, Game of Thrones has that bad video mode. Yeah, I forgot all about that because I never want to see it again.
I like it because it's bad though. I like it like I just I like it because it's so
because
cheesy.
you hate that game and you want to have bad.
I
things
would
with it.
and
All
it
right.
gives you like 0 points for doing it. You get like 1,000,000 points, which is
Yeah,
like
that's so
really
stupid.
It doesn't even make sense.
It's
but
bad.
That's why I kind of like
It's
it.
bad. Thank you for bringing that up.
One that is really legitimately bad though is in Ghostbusters, the negative reinforcement one. Where you're picking the cards.
Kevin, this is probably more than just hive mind, but those are the two that I thought of. Those are really the two.
So stupid.
I first thought of the Ghostbusters, but I'm like, no. Black Rose is worse when mashing the button. But the negative reinforcement, and what's really bad about that one is it takes forever.
Yeah.
It's just not like in Congo when you like kind of, it's sort of the same idea,
like
right?
bing, bing, bing,
you
pick
choose the
that,
tunnel, but it's quick.
Yeah.
Like you're like, okay, just you don't waste too much of my time with this nonsense. All right.
But
I'm excited.
The good news is about Ghostbusters is that they put in a good video mode, so you can just play that one instead. And my last one was Theater Magic, because what's cooler than stopping real pinball to play fake
man.
pinball on a crappy little DMD?
Forgot about that one.
It's bad.
That is stupid.
It's really stupid.
Yeah. Stupid.
Stupid. All right. All right. So it's fun to do this. Do you have bad ones or
Those, well, I immediately thought of Ghostbusters because it was recent, but then I thought like I can dig deeper, and it was the Black Rose. Anything that has you pounding a button like track and field style is incredibly stupid. And thank you for bringing up Game of Thrones because that's essentially what they brought in. It's horrible. Come on, guys.
All right. So for the best, I wrote down two. I had Fishtails, where you're pulling the trigger and like blasting the boats
Yeah,
as
that's
they
a
fly
good
by.
one. I didn't
That's
think of
fun.
that one. That's good.
And the Getaway. I like the car racing, the
Okay.
riding line, cranking up the gears to go faster, and getting away from the cops. It's got the thing spinning on top.
Yeah.
Right. I like it.
Okay, I thought of Dracula when you put it on like extra hard
That's
or whatever.
good, yep.
That's okay. Again, I don't like video modes, but I appreciate the brevity in some of them. If you're gonna make me play one, let's not drag it out. Let's give maybe a well-deserved break and play or something. All right, that's the only one I thought about. Fishtails makes sense. Someone brought up, I thought of Johnny Mnemonic, and that's sort of in the middle.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's
it's
how I
great.
felt.
I don't think it's bad either.
Yeah.
It's just
it's horrible until you figure out how it works, and
It's
then it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's kind of like rubbing your belly and patting your head at the same time. because,
Yeah.
like left and right or up and down.
How
too.
they thought casual people are gonna understand what's going on is beyond me, and maybe that's not for them, but whatever.
Snarf.
Okay, I think we did a good job answering that.
We did. All right.
No video modes, please. No more video modes. If I ever saw a video mode again in my life, I'd be okay
Star
with
Wars
that.
has one.
Yeah, I don't like it.
All right. I think that we're going to close out the show before we get to our
If I
usual.
wanted to play a video game, I'd play a good video game.
Not a pinball machine with a bad video game and 2 buttons. All right. So be sure to come and check us out. The Buffalo Pinball Summer Open, August 17th to 19th, 2018, right here in beautiful Western New York at the Sandy Beach Yacht Club on Grand Island. It's going to be great. We got a main class, 2 classics, and a women's tournament all happening. Check it out, buffalopinball.com/summer open. You can follow us on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. You look like you have something to say.
No, it's not. Mixer Tune is talking about Baby Pac-Man. I don't want to get into that's another. We're just limping out of this podcast
Stop
right
it,
now.
Tuna.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, I know media is already plural. I said that just to get on your nerves, Namus. Medias, all the medias. Email. If you got a question, you got feedback, you want to criticize our grammar, email talkpinball@gmail.com.
Send it to jfairbrother@gmail.com.
There you go. You can follow us on Twitch if you like hanging out with us on the podcast. You can hang out while we stream real pinball. It's twitch.tv/Buffalo Pinball. You can also support us there by subscribing. Would really appreciate that. And another way you can support us is on Patreon.
Yeah. So if you want to say thank you, there's no finer way than cold hard cash.
Well played.
Yeah.
Make it rain.
Yeah. We got a good idea from Chuck Webster.
Oh yeah.
He was referencing our PBS style fundraisers on Twitch. We're gonna do that. We're gonna get a booth and have people calling Jay Fairbrother to make donations.
Be sitting right there in between us.
You see us
Little
playing,
desk.
and he'll just be back there answering the phone.
It's gonna have a rotary phone. It's gonna be.
You
Great.
can harass him as long as you're paying money.
The calls are coming in.
We'll get on that.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We will catch you next month with our special guest.
Later.
And our ringer. All right. Later, guys.